Warsaw Friday Energy ministers from the Ukraine and Russia met with EU energy commissioners, hoping to resolve the dispute over gas payments. The eastern part of Ukraine is in turmoil, and the U.S. is now threatening more sanctions. And Jim Spellman is here to help us break all this down and help us understand what's happening here.
Phil, the immediate issue here is money that Ukraine owes Russian gas giant Gazprom. $3.5 billion, according to the Russians. And if Ukraine doesn't pay, Russia says it will cut off the flow of gas.
If the invoice is not paid for June by May 31st, Gazprom will actually have the possibility, in accordance with the contract, to restrict supplies of gas to Ukraine, or to guarantee that supply of gas only in the volumes for which the invoice will be paid by the end of May.
Ukraine claims it doesn't owe that much, that Gazprom has been overcharging since the ouster of President Yanukovych earlier this year. They weren't able to come up with an agreement today, but they have agreed to meet again later in May to try to head off a major crisis. If the gas flow is cut, it could have wide-ranging impacts, since a third of EU gas supplies come from Russia flowing through Ukraine. Russia cut off gas flow to Ukraine in 2006 and 2009. In those instances, it led to widespread shortages of cooking oil and heating oil. They need to start putting in oil now to have reserves for the winter. The EU Energy Commissioner also came out asking for Russia to charge all EU countries the same amount for gas. Currently, Russia has bilateral agreements with every country, so some pay more, some pay less. The EU calls this divide and rule. They want to end it, hoping it will lead to lower prices, but the Russians balked at that proposal, Phil.
Jim, there has been a lot of talk about deals, not just about this gas stuff, but all the other issues surrounding Ukraine. There's been very little action. Is there perhaps a thought that whatever they agree to, they'll actually stick to it?
Well, the sense here is that this is a big leverage point for the Russians. Coming up, you're going to have an election, possibly a referendum in the eastern part of Russia, and the U.S. is threatening energy sanctions, sector-wide sanctions, a huge change in their approach so far. If those potentially were to hit the energy market, it could have these wide-ranging effects we're talking about. So there's a lot of things in play here leading up to that May 31st deadline.
Yeah. And those elections are going to be huge, Jim.
Huge.
Thank you very much.